We are super excited today. More Transaction Tuesday. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about probate, but we're going to talk a lot about real estate. We've got Miss Jackie Brown, entrepreneur from the Atlanta, Georgia area that'll be with us in just a moment. I'm going to put in the chat box her contacting information. That way you have all of that available to you as all. There we go. Hello, Mr. Weigel. How are you, sir? You can come off mute if you'd like.
Hi, Eric.
Nice.
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Nice to see you. Are you home? Are you traveling?
Nope, I made it home. We were in Scotland for 11 days, I think.
Yeah, I did. We have a great time out there.
It was fantastic.
That's
We
awesome.
spent we spent all 4 days at the British Open, the 4 days of competition.
Wonderful.
It was really incredible.
McElroy would have wished he would have spent 4 days at the competition too, but he didn't have a chance to do 4 days there.
Yeah,
But that's awesome. I'd love to hear more about that. If you got pictures as well, I was able to golf over in Ireland about 3 years ago. It was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. So, hey, everybody, as you're coming on board, if you want to wave and say hello, you can wave. If you want to say hello verbally, you can do that as well. Just make sure you mute yourself after you say hi. Nice to have many of you coming on. We love when you have your video on as well. We would like to ask that you remain with your video on as much as possible. But if you're driving, of course, please make sure that you drive safely and just listen to the audio. We'll get started in just a minute. I do want to remind everybody, if you're a guest and you're not part of EXP family, that's okay. We're happy that you're here. We have these Tuesdays for anyone that is a real estate agent or broker that would like to know more about more transactions. This is not a concept that maybe works. Every Tuesday, we bring you something hot and heavy that you can institute immediately for effective results. Today is no different. We'll be talking in just a moment about our topic. Nice to see Miss Paula as well on a Tuesday. Hello, Miss Pisky.
Hey there.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Excited about this.
Yeah, we all are excited. I do want to share my screen and remind everybody, if you don't know already, I'm going to remind you, Glenn Sanford on August 31st, on Wednesday, August 31st, exact same link, exact same time, except it's on a Wednesday. And you don't want to miss that. Those of us that were here last Wednesday for Brent Gove, that was a lot of fun. We all know that. That recording will be available, cut up and for you to use for advertising purposes in the next week or so. So keep checking with us. This is our calendar. Again, we'll roll into the new calendar for August.
Make sure we have.
Oh, we got to mute. There we go. We're going to roll into August with a brand new calendar. Look for that this week in Workplace. Of course, we post that at the top. Don't forget, every Monday, level 1, agent attraction. Thursday, level 2, agent attraction. More transactions every Tuesday. Even more transactions, same time normally on Wednesday. And EXP's leadership is the only one that's not in this Zoom link. Friday leadership is always in the EXP auditorium. Again, don't miss August's schedule and August 31st with the wonderful Glenn Sanford. Today, I have the opportunity. I am standing in for my good friend, Jeff Morrell, who normally hosts this. Jeff's doing some video work today. He's actually not far from me in Orlando, but I have the honor of being able to introduce Miss Jackie Brown. Miss Jackie Brown has been around the block a few times, but she still looks like the spring chicken that she is. She always celebrates her 21st birthday multiple times a year. She actually lives, Jackie, I believe, in Lawrenceville, outside the Atlanta area. You're muted for the moment, Jackie. You can come off mute. I'm always curious, being in Atlanta, how long have you been an Atlantan?
Well, I'm an original Georgia peach from North Georgia, but I've been in the metro Atlanta area since 1986.
I happened to spend 3.5 really good years there at Georgia Tech in Atlanta from 77 to 81. I also was the original bleacher creature. For those of you that understand that term, I was the first guy with that big fuzzy suit on the outside, and it was hot in the summer. I promise you that. But
Hotlanta.
Hotlanta for a reason. It's about to get real hot with what you do. Look, there's no question. Those that don't know you, I did put your information in the chat box. I'm going to do it again. Everybody, I do highly recommend that you do check Miss Jackie Brown out. There's lots of ways to connect with her. I don't want you to hesitate utilizing any of those ways to communicate. She's an awesome individual. She's been with EXP for a period of time. I know this. I like to do a quick interview. It's the easiest way, Jackie, for people to know you. Real quickly, The rapid fire 5 questions. How long have you been in real estate?
Oh my gosh, going into 19 years,
Perfect.
going into my 19th year.
And in real estate, what is your favorite thing to do?
I'm a server. I love serving my clients. I love connecting with them. I love loving all my clients. I really do. And they'll tell you the same thing.
No, we see you from afar and we know that. How long have you been over here with EXP?
I moved to EXP in 2017.
Perfect. And your biggest reason to move?
I got excited. I mean, the people that invited me, first of all, and I saw what they saw, and I really respected them as business leaders and owners, and had been in the real estate industry for many, many years, and I had lost my zeal a little bit for real estate, and I wasn't really excited. Was still in there, had my license going, but when I saw the business model of EXP and what was possible, I literally got excited.
Well, it seems like 4.5, 5 years later, you're just as excited, if not more so. Today, we're going to talk about a special topic that's near and dear to you. What topic are we speaking of today?
Oh my gosh, the opportunities that are inside probate. It's incredible.
And why do you feel qualified to talk about that specifically?
The funny thing is, it's because, my very first deal in real estate almost 19 years ago, it was a situation for probate. And I didn't even know what probate was. I had family land. They were waiting on me when I got my license to help them sell their land, but they had to go through the probate process. And I had to help them through that process. And so I was doing it already. And it seems to be that I've had, so many clients that have just come my way that were going through this. And I'm like, wait a minute, I need to learn more about this. I need to be, although I'm doing it, and it's kind of like a common sense type thing. Yeah. But if I could learn more, I could be more effective, help more people, and honestly help more agents as well.
Well, we talked briefly before everybody jumped on. We talked about the concept of what's going on in the market. I have a favorite word that I've coined on what's going on. And I want everybody to understand, I think it's more important to know what's going on than why it's going on. Because as agents, we're reacting to what everybody else is doing, both internally, governmentally, other real estate agents, and consumers. So what we have to know is how to react in today's market. I think today's market is settling. I don't know if it's receding. I don't know if it's depressing. I don't know if it's crashing, but I do know it's settling. That's what it feels like in the Central Florida area and other areas that I focus on. Tell me about Atlanta. What do you think is happening?
There's a lot of different things. It's changing, and I'm seeing different things happening. I'm seeing prices drop. I'm seeing, listings, expire. I'm seeing, a lot more inventory coming back on the market, and I'm seeing people making adjustments. People are pausing, but I do know this: buyers are still buying. I do know that sellers are still trying to sell. So yeah, it's a hodgepodge of everything. But I definitely see, and again, the houses that are on the market, they're staying on longer. Yeah. It's not like you put your house on the market at 12 and then at 2 you're under contract. It's not like that anymore. At least not where I am.
So we'll stick with the word settling. It's just settling down. As the old show says, simmer down now. It's just simmering down. That's all it's doing. So with that said, I'm sure the next 40 minutes or so is not going to be a simmer down situation. I may have to throw some water on you periodically, but you are an expert in this space. As you said, you've been focused there on and off for 19 years. For some people, as I know the way you teach, I've seen you do this kind of thing before, although not to this extent. I know that even newbies that don't understand probate, you're going to carry them along for a little bit. But those of us that have been around the industry for years and understand probate, you're not going to bore them as well, because I understand your content is hot and heavy. Jackie Brown, let's bring it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to, before I share my screen, I just want to thank you guys for this opportunity, for the platform. You, Eric, just amazing. And Kathy and Jeff, and just everyone that makes this happen. Ever since I've been a part of this, coming to these masterminds, I've only gotten value, got excitement, got value, feel the sense of community. And I absolutely love what you guys do. And thank you again for the opportunity. Okay. So let me share my screen here. Host has to give me sharing. That's it. Okay. Okay, can you guys see my screen okay? Awesome. You can hear me okay? Because Eric, I can't hear you for some
Yeah,
reason.
perfectly. You're good.
Okay, let me try to move this out of the way so it won't be a distraction for me. Let me move this. Okay, there we go. Okay, so maximize your opportunity inside probate. Get my little clicker going here. I might need to turn it on. Hold on. So, sometimes the technology just doesn't work, and that's okay. So before we get started, I really want to kind of, give you a little bit of background of who I am, just so we're not perfect strangers. Like Eric said, I've been in in real estate for going on 19 years now. And, I have a family that we live here in the metro Atlanta area in Lawrenceville. My husband and I, Bobby Brown, we just celebrated 33 years this past weekend. So, he is the love of my life. So I'm excited not only about real estate, I'm excited about my husband. I'm just excited, y'all. I'm excited about everything. I have 2 adult boys, young men who live with us. They love us so much, they don't want to leave us. So we're letting them stay as long as they need to stay. And, my heart is for serving. I love giving, I love sharing, I love helping. And one of my big things is to giving back. And I really do love community and help making sure people are fed. And my charity that I support is Hugs and Hope Community Table, where we feed over 500 people a week in the area where we live. And it's just, incredible. So I love doing that. And I love, just educating and informing people and inspiring people. And then there are also things. I have a television show. The television show is not on the air right now, but we are in the process of filming season 4. And so it'll be coming out pretty soon. So we'll keep you posted on that. But there's a lot of different things. As Eric said, I am an entrepreneur. I love to do lots of different things and have multiple streams of income. But my heart is real estate. So let me tell you a little bit about my 2008 story, okay? We almost lost everything. I had been in real estate, had my license, and, business was booming. When I got out of school, I had clients waiting for me. I mean, I've been blessed. I've never had to buy leads. I've never had to cold call. I've never had to do that. And I know that is not typical. My business over the past almost 19 years has been referral based. I love my clients. They know that, and they are always referring to me, and so I love that. And the other thing, when the real estate market was booming, I actually had a connection with a lender. We work for the same company, and we just happened to go to the same church. We had that connection, and so he was referring things to me. And so it's important to establish those vendor relationships, those partners, industry partners, because you just never know what can come from that. But I'm doing my thing. I'm helping my clients, and I do want to say this too. When I first got into real estate, I honestly didn't realize the importance of having a system. I didn't understand the importance of having, mentorship or a coach or someone to guide you. I understood I'm a self-starter, I'm a DIY type person. I'm always like to do things my way and figure things out. And so that kind of was to my detriment, because I feel that if I would have had a system, if I would have had more structure in my business, although I was doing great volume, I would have been able to sustain more. I would have been able to stay in contact with my clients more. Now, yes, I love all my clients, and they will all tell you that. But in the beginning, I wasn't following up with them regularly. I was basically not even realizing this. I was more of a transaction agent, not realizing it. I didn't have a team. I was doing every single thing by myself. So I didn't have a transaction coordinator. I didn't have any type of virtual assistant. I was doing everything. And so therefore, not really having a system and having businesses coming at you left and right, just left and right. There's a lot of room for chaos and disorder. But I worked through it. I figured out some things that worked for me. And then 2008 happened, right? So I didn't know. I had only been in real estate about almost 4 years at that point. And so when I first got in, like some of you may be listening right now, business was booming. If you got in real estate within the last 10 years, or definitely within the last 3 to 5 years, you think business is booming and that's how real estate goes on a regular basis? There are several of us that's been around for a long time. We can tell you, no, it's cyclical, and you just have to know how to pivot. And Lord Jesus, I have learned how to pivot. Okay. I've learned how to recreate it. You have to be resourceful. And so when the market started to crash, start shifting, because I had built a lot of relationships with people, I was steady getting referrals for the people who were actually doing business, but the referrals were slowing down. And then I began to see other agents, like, what are you doing? Are you getting another job? Are you taking a job? I'm like, no, I'm being, again, I can do it all. I can do this, not even realizing. I knew the magnitude, but not really. I didn't really realize the magnitude of what was going on. So I wasn't as prepared as I would have liked to have been, right? And so my husband, by, someone not being in the industry, he didn't know what was going on, right? He just knew that I used to bring on home big checks and the checks had slowed down and then the checks had stopped. And he's looking at me and I'm looking at him like, I don't know what to do. And he's looking at me like, you need to fix it. And I will tell you guys, that was probably one of the lowest points in my life. That was absolutely one of the lowest points in my life, because I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't know what to do, because I felt as though the rug had been snatched from underneath me. I was doing what I was trained to do. I was doing everything and I had no control. And I don't know how you guys are, but I don't like to feel out of control. I'm not a control freak, but I like to control the things that I can control, right? And I didn't know what to do. And so I actually, went into this downward spiral where I was just trying to figure this thing out and not understanding it. Because before then, I had a background in retail and had a background in ministry and background doing different things, but nothing that was sustainable. No systems in place to keep things going. And again, when the market was shifting and crashing and everything it was doing, someone who was not connected, let me say this, guys, do not isolate yourself. Do not isolate yourself. Stay plugged in. I cannot tell you, because I isolated myself. I didn't isolate myself on purpose. I just kind of had always been a one-woman show, doing things and really not understanding that I need to connect with other people to find out what they're doing, how they're staying afloat and all this. So that made it worse. That made it even worse. I'm encouraging you right now. I don't care where you are, but I do care who you listen to. Don't listen to all the scary people. Don't listen to all the, that is what's going to drive you the wrong direction. Okay. That's what's going to allow you to operate out of fear versus, moving forward out of faith. I'm a woman of faith. But I wanted to encourage you to just to make sure that you stay connected. That's the biggest thing. And so as we were going through that, again, we almost lost our car, we almost lost our house, and we almost lost our marriage. I mean, I'm a very positive person. And I know people, I know there were people who lost their lives. I know this. I know there were people who lost a lot of things, everything. I understand that. And I'm grateful and blessed that we didn't, but I'm a very positive person, as you can probably tell. I'm very energetic. The glass is always half full and all that. The sun's always shining. If it's not shining, I'll bring the sunshine. That's me. But at that point, I'm like, you know what? Who's leaving, me or you? I'll pack your bags so you can pay. I don't care. That's where I was. I was so low. I could not even remember one accomplishment that I had. And so that's where I was. But what I did at that moment, I said, you know what? I never want to forget how this feels, because I will never be here again. I will never be here again. I knew I had to take that bad situation and turn it around and let that fuel me to change my destiny. Okay. And that's what I've done. So that's my story. And, there's a lot more to it, but that's the gist of it. Okay. I hope you guys got this. So what is probate? And I'm trying to move my little, there we go. Okay. What is probate? Probate is the legal process for the transfer of assets being houses, cars, stock, bonds, boats, etc., from the deceased person's name to his or her estate, so that they can be sold or distributed to the heirs. Okay. So I understand that there's some people who have no idea what probate is. And so that's why I wanted to make sure I gave a simple explanation of what that is. And so here are the key players. The key players are the personal representative, the person that's actually started the probate process. Okay. It's the probate clerk, it's the probate attorney, and it's the heirs. These are typically the key players through any probate process. Okay. So this is the probate timeline. And please let me know, is my little, is there anything blocking? Can you guys see everything clearly?
It looks perfect.
Okay, this is on my end. Okay, right. And so this is the probate timeline. So if you're not aware of how long the probate process can take, this is kind of a guide and idea. And honestly, guys, just like any real estate deal, each probate situation is different. So some going to take longer time than others, right? But the typical time frame is anywhere from 12 to 18 months from when the time that they file, may notice that the probate process is started from the time it's finished. It can take up to 18 months. And so this is something, a little tool that I am able to share with some of my clients or prospects, let them know, give them an idea, because keep in mind, when we get a little bit further, you'll understand that these people that are the personal representative, that person that's kind of filed the process, started the process, they're everyday people just like we are. They don't do this for a living. So they don't have an idea of what to expect most likely, okay? So this is a little guideline to help them have an idea. So these are some terms that you should know. So test date, when there's a will, it's called test date. That means there's an executor or an executrix, someone that has been allotted or named or put in the will. You have letters of testamentary giving you instructions on you're the person that's in charge of the estate, right? So they're called an executor or an executrix, okay? If there is no will, it's considered intestate. There's no will. Therefore, an administrator or administratrix will be the one that's going to be appointed. As it says right here, if there is a will, the secretary initiates the probate. If there is no will, someone will step forward as the potential administrator and initiate the probate. Now, that person can step forward and say, I want to take over this, I want to take over Uncle Willie's estate, or one family member may say, you know what, Sharon, you've been great because you are the one that's business sense. You should take over. And then the court has to approve that. A court has to decide that, okay? And so then there's different terms in probate. There's different types of probate, okay? There's conservatorship. And what that means is that's a person that may no longer can take care of themselves. Maybe they have Parkinson's or they have dementia. And so this property is being handled by someone else on their behalf, okay? Then there's guardianship. Guardianship is when there's typically a minor involved, and a lot of times in the guardianship, the property is not sold. The property is going to be left there for the children or the person that's going to be there, okay? So the PR person that's over the estate is just kind of there to make sure that all those things are handled properly, okay? And then there's a living trust. A living trust is simply a trust that you create while you are alive. And the beneficiaries you name in the living trust will receive the properties when you die. And so those are some of the different types of probate. So hopefully that clears it up for some of you. So I do want to ask a question. Eric, talked a little bit about, earlier when we got started, what the market was kind of doing. So I hope I can see the chat. I'm not sure if I can, but what are some of the things, or you can come off your mic and answer, what are some of the things that are happening in your market right now as far as real estate? So you can come off your chat and just kind of shout things out. So what are some of the things that are happening right now? Come on, don't be shy.
Houses staying on the market longer.
Okay, excellent.
Hi, Jackie.
The market.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Inventory's creeping up.
Inventory is creeping up, okay? Meaning more inventory is coming back,
Yes.
okay?
We're seeing a lot of price reductions in our market here in Colorado Springs.
Okay, okay,
Sellers are getting back into negotiating, like considering closing cost and
mhm,
maybe below asking price offers.
okay.
Everybody's on vacation.
Except for us, right? We're working that thing. What about interest rates and things like that?
Yeah, interest rates are up. The number of closed sales have gone down a little bit.
Yeah, what about cost of living?
It's increased.
So yeah, so all these things are going on, and a lot of the same things are going on across the different markets. I think there's a little bit of variation there, but we would agree that it's shifting, there's things happening, and there's adjustments that needs to be made. So how does this affect you? How does this affect, with all the things that you just named, how does this affect your current real estate business as is? Let's name some more things. How does this affect your current real estate business? Interest rates, properties coming available, properties staying on the market longer, sellers being able to negotiate. So how does this affect you? Or does it affect you?
It's just like, I'm in Colorado Springs, but it's just like anything else. Interest rates going up, you have to be creative, particularly in the lower priced homes, say 500-600 and under. Not so much in the higher priced homes because a lot of those are people that it doesn't matter, or they're cash or whatever. But you have to get with your lender and learn how to react to those things that are changing, particularly with interest rates, and so that it doesn't have such a big impact on your buyers.
Yes, yes. And I have a question. So were you finding in our previous market that maybe buyers were kind of shy, or they were getting frustrated, or they were getting kind of, worn out by trying to make all these offers and getting outbid?
Absolutely. In fact, it's much better for buyers now. If you're working with buyers, it's much easier to get a deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So things shift quickly, don't they? Poof.
Yeah. Yeah. 4 months, 3 months ago is an entirely different world than it is today. Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So why should you consider probate? So I'm asking that question because it doesn't affect the shifting market, the things that are going on, the interest rate. It really doesn't affect probate at all. And you'd be like, how is that possible? I'm going to tell you how that's possible. Okay. So this is why probate is really not affected by the things that are going on. Okay. So one of the main thing that the PR, the personal representative or the administrator or the executor has to do, their job, really their only job, is to liquidate the assets and to settle the estate. So that's what that person's job is to do. Their function is to liquidate the assets and sell the estate. Okay. They are implicitly motivated to get this done. They know that they have a thing to do. They want to get it done, right? They have a life that they want to get back to. Like I said earlier, they want to get finished with this extra work and get back to their life. All right. And then the other thing is they're financially motivated. They're going to, as a PR, as an administrator, they're going to have, there's an administrative fee that they are allotted for overtaking this, for taking care of this. And so they are financially motivated. Now, each state is different. It just depends on what the estate has. It just depends on what's there, but they are able to be compensated for their work. Okay. And people, this is, it's a good thing, but it's a sad thing, but good thing. People are always dying. That people are always going to die. Okay. There's always going to be more inventory coming available. There's always. And I will just say this, I have, and I'll go into a little bit, I do buy leads, and we could talk a little bit about that more and a little bit later on, but this is my first time buying leads ever. And the leads that I have, I got leads. This was probably back in April. I'm just using 1 month for an example. And these are vetted leads that I have. These are really the clean, scraped and everything. And in one city, in 1 month, 148 probate cases. 148, just in my local area. So I'm letting you know this is happening, and we know people are dying. And so some of them have property, some of them do not, but this is more inventory available. They can come available. Okay. Why did I choose probate as my niche? And so, as I said earlier, I was already working in probate in different capacities. I just decided to change my way of thinking. I'll put my glasses on for this part. I already helped clients who had gone through the probate process. I was already doing that. I had already purchased multiple fixes and flips. I'm a rehabber, so I love fixing and flipping properties. I purchased those properties from a probate wholesaler. So I was aware of probate from that angle, right? I've also listed properties of investor clients who have purchased probate properties. So I knew what was going on with probate, but I was just doing it from different angles. So when I saw that there was a different angle for me to do this, then I decided that I wanted to get certified. I wanted to get certified. I wanted to have CPRES certification. So I could say that I was certified, and then I would be able to learn more about it, not just the knowledge that I have, but I would be able to have additional knowledge and continue to grow to be able to serve my clients, and again, to share with other agents who may be thinking about probate as a niche. So what skills do you need? Okay. You need to keep in touch. These are skills that we already use. These are getting back to the basics anyway. And if you can see my little diagram here, I put a little a pin with a marker, like pen and paper, versus a phone. Now, there's different ways to do probate. You know, you can make phone calls, you can send out letters, you can write notes, you can email, you can do different things, you can knock on doors, all those different things. But one of the things that I will tell you that you want to really think about is setting yourself apart. And I know you've learned about writing handwritten notes in some real estate class you've taken, or someone spoke it to you. If you haven't, well, let me be the first to tell you that's important, because people want to know that you really do care about them. People, anytime you get something personal in the mail, you're going to want to open it. Like this is a letter that I'm sending out today, handwritten. It's yellow, envelope gold, got a nice little sticker on the back. You know, and I'm going to make it smell really nice. They're going to want to open it, right? And so that's what you really want to be able to do. And you always want to be able to give value. So you have to have a mental shift. I know some of us, we are salespeople, and we do go about our business differently. But when you're doing probate, we're always selling ourselves. Okay. We're always doing that, but you don't want to have that approach. The approach is you want to be caring, and you want to be of service, and you have something to help, and you want to be able to help them. So you always got to bring value, no matter what that is. Okay. And then, you got to have a plan. You got to have a plan. So you get the house, you call the person, and they're wanting to say, what are you gonna do with the house? Do you know what the plan is? Do you know you have that mapped out? So you have to have a plan, right? And so what are your options? What's the plan? What are the options? Okay, so maybe you get the listing. You get to list the property, right? You help them through the process. You're able to list the property, right? Or like I've done, you can buy the property. You may want to buy it for a fix and flip. You may want to buy it for a buy and hold. You may, whatever you want to do with it, but you have the opportunity to buy the property, right? Or you can do a JV, a joint venture. A joint venture means you're partnering with another agent to fix and flip. You may even partner with the homeowner to fix and flip. There's so many different things that you can do with, specializing in probate. And this is just a few, all right? So let me give you some more reasons to consider probate, right? First of all, off-market inventory. There's off-market inventory, and everybody wants to talk with you when you have off-market inventory. And when you have that pipeline packed full of resources and off-market inventory, that's all you need right there. That's going to keep that pipeline full if you are actively working your business and doing income producing activities on a daily basis and systematizing your business, then you're going to see the fruit. You're going to see the fruit. It's a business niche, right? You're niching yourself out. You're specializing in something. And I will tell you right now, in this market that we're in, you need to be specializing in something. If probate is not it, then let this be you drawing a line to that. Probate's not it. Let me go to the next thing. But whatever that thing is, you need to find that thing, learn all you can learn about it. When you're learning stuff, learn it like you're going to teach it. Okay. Learn it like you're going to teach it, because you'll know, people will feel the confidence that you have about what you're talking about, and people follow confidence, right? Okay. And they follow excitement, right? And the other thing I said, why probate? People are always dying, more listing opportunities, more inventory coming available. Number 4, it can be rewarding and satisfying to help the clients through such a vulnerable and sensitive time. You always have to put yourself in that person's situation. These people, they've lost a loved one. Most likely it's a loved one or a family friend or something. There's been a loss, right? They have all sorts of things going through their mind, and you get to kind of be there to help them through that process. If you've ever gone through anything and you needed a shoulder to cry on, or you needed someone to understand exactly your pain, then that's where you are with helping them. That's the same situation, okay? Number 5, and what happens when you build stronger relationships? Anytime you help someone through something, or someone helps you through something, there's a connection. There's a different type of connection. You get that, you got that person. Some of you are already doing that with your clients. Some of your clients absolutely love you, and they respect you, and they always want to work with you. And that will be the same with this, and even more so because you're helping them through a very, possibly a sad and tough time in their life that's memorable, that they will definitely remember. And then also, it can result in more client referrals. You're doing a great job. Think about this, guys, right? So maybe this is, you're spending most of your time talking with the executor or the person, the PR, the person that's handling the administrator, the person that's handling everything. And there's this one property that you're working on, right? But what if there's heirs? What if there's heirs that, they may have properties. They may know someone who has properties. They may know someone who knows someone who has properties, right? It's a matter of going through those contacts in the appropriate time. So my point is, when you're handling these situations and you're being so sensitive and you're being caring and loving, the word is spreading. People are talking, and then people are watching also, just like any other business that you do, but this is specific to probate. If something else happens, they're going to think about you, right? And then the other thing, number 7, there's not a whole lot of agents focusing on it. There's not a whole lot of agents focusing on it in the ways that I'm talking about. And there's some additional ways that I get into when I have other classes and trainings. I go into a little more detail. But again, this is something, just go down the checkbox and see if this is something for you. And if it is, consider it. So what habits must you master? And so I love this saying, and I know you guys have all heard it, people need to know that you care. People don't really care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that is the honest truth. You can have, an encyclopedia brain, know everything and spouting things off. And people don't care about what you know if you don't make them feel important, if you don't really make sure that they feel like they matter. And so you got to have empathy. You have to be a good listener. You have to anticipate what their needs are before they actually need. Again, the same with regular real estate. But again, this is a more sensitive, okay? Then you have to be their problem solver. You have to be able to be a resource for them, a hero for them. I have one client, and this little story, I want to interject a story here. Eric, we good on time? Okay, so I'm going to interject this little story. I have this one client who was actually referred to me by a mentee that I mentored years ago, who is a realtor, but she's working corporately. And so she wasn't able to work outside of her job. And so she knew one of her church members needed some assistance. And so she referred me. And she referred me to this particular client. And this particular client had 3 deals to do. She had 2 houses to sell and 1 house to buy. Her sister had been the caretaker of her mother, and her sister lived with the mother. The mother passed away, and so they had that house to sell because she didn't want her sister living by herself. And so she wanted to have a house big enough for the sister to move in with, she and her family, and their current house wasn't. So I helped them sell the mom's house, then I helped them find a new home, and then I helped sell that house. Well, and I loved on them the whole way. It was a sensitive situation the whole way. And we just became, like family. We just do. My clients and I, we become like family. And so during that time frame, that one client referred 2 other clients to me. One client was her best friend. And I never forget the day I made the phone call, and I was going through my normal routine, and I was telling her she could get referrals. She said, I don't need any referrals. If Tina referred me, we're all using you. I'm like, okay. And that particular client had a home to sell and had a home to buy. Tina referred me to other people. So it was just been ongoing because I care for them. And then so they moved into their house in 2020. And just September of last year, her husband passed away. Her husband passed away. It blew us out of the water, blew us completely out of the water. I mean, we're still like, what? Because this particular person, you just didn't see it coming. But anyway, so then she's going through this process and going through these things, but she calls me over, and you know what she tells me? This is something that you want your clients to be able to say to you. And especially when they're going through a process like this. She says, Jackie, I believe that you can do everything. I think you can do everything, right? She calls me for everything. Can I refer, a plumber? And when something's going on with the sink, with the dishwasher, can I do? She's constantly calling me for everything, right? She even called me to ask me if I should go walking with me. I'm like, absolutely. She just wanted to talk it out. But my point, guys, is when you are working with someone through this process, that's who you become to them. You are a resource. Anything that they need, if they need someone to come clean out the property, if they need someone, an attorney, if they need, someone to, appraise the property, if they need someone to just help, with an estate sale, whatever that is, they're going to come to you, they're going to look to you, and you want to be their resource. You want to be their resource. And there's a whole nother way of doing all that. We'll get into that a little bit in my classes, but you want to be you want to be their hero. You want to be their hero. And then the other thing is you build a lasting relationship of creating lifetime of referrals. This, again, is your reputation is going to be unending as you're continuing to just love on your clients. And so I always like to encourage, so I want to take this time real quick, just to encourage you that no matter where you are and what you're going through, where you are in your business right now, to just think about recreating it, look at it a little bit differently, get a different lens, get a different perspective, and get excited. I cannot even tell you how excited you have got to be. And if you're really fearful, it's the same thing. Just tell yourself you're excited. The same endorphins are produced, okay? So you won't know, you just be excited, and you're gonna see and stay connected, right? And so again, once you've gone through the probate process, these people are going to, say, for example, when you start the process with the PRs, everyone is on a different timeline, right? So for example, someone may have passed away. For example, I have an example of someone that passed away in 1970. And the probate was just started in 2021. Okay, so with the information that I received, with the leads that I buy, I have all this information, so I know where they are, active or not, And so that was a flag to me. And then that particular one where the PR had a different mailing address than the decedent. Okay, so that lets me know something. They passed away in 1970. The PR hadn't done anything until last year. They live at a different address. Something's happening. Somebody's ready to do something, right? They're either going to sell it, they're going to rent it, they're going to do something. And I want to be available, and I want to help them through that process. So it's important that you understand the timeline, and that you understand there's different levels of there is a different status that they're going through for different processes. So you can help out throughout the process, but staying informed, staying connected with them. And so these are some of, this is kind of small here, but again, these are some of the duties that the executor has to go through. And this is some tools that you'll be able to use and give your prospects to kind of help them be able to understand and be able to see and have, more peace of going through this process, because it's very, can be very nerve-wracking. It can feel very lonely, it can be very sad, because especially if someone that's handling the probate process, what if they grew up in the house? It can be very emotional, and you have to always be the voice of reason. You have to honestly, like with all of our real estate transactions, you have to be patient. You really have to put your best self forward. And I want to say this right here. One of the things that I was struggling with in the very beginning was when I just got my certification and I decided that I really wanted to go all in with this. I was afraid of being salesy. I was afraid of sounding salesy. I was afraid of turning them off. I was afraid of being that person on the other end of the phone that you want to hang up on. I didn't want to be that person. So I really had to take a few steps back and figure out, how can I do this? One, how can I really be of service? I really wanted to care. How can I really make them feel that I care? And then honestly, for me at this season of my life, I want everything to be fun. So how could I have fun with it, and how could I stay informed? And so when I pulled back and really put myself in the position that they would be in, and went through all of my situations with my clients, and I really understood they just need someone who cares. That's me. I was raised that way. I was raised to make sure you just say please and thank you and check on people and go visit the sick and shut in and do all those things. And so that's how I'm wired. And so that's why I got excited about, because I could do that. I could do that. And then the other part of that is I wanted to be able to educate And I wanted to be able to let them know, inform them, and let them know that I was the advocate for them. And so for me, it was all about me learning and being as much as informed as I can, because I don't know what they're going to need. I have absolutely no. Here's another thing to think about, guys. Some of these properties that are going to be going through probate, you know, they may be going through foreclosure, they may be going through short sale, that may be a whole nother, it's endless, guys. I'm just saying, open up your brain to receive other things. I know you may be fixed on the way that you do things, but I'm telling you right now, think, recreate, you know, be creative, be open, be a life learner. And, you know, you just never know. And the cool thing about what you can do, and one of the things that I do, and I help you through that process, is putting your unique skills together. There's something that maybe you're really good at and you're using over here, but maybe you haven't used it over here. I show you how to put it together, like, wow. Well, you may say someone else is doing, yes, someone else may be doing it, but they're not doing it like you're doing it, right? So these are the things I want you to think about. And I think I'm about finished my slides. Yeah, so this is my last slide here. Just wanted to give you guys a way to get in contact with me. And I wanted to tell you, if you found any information that I've said helpful, please share this information. You know, that's why I love this platform, that we'll be able to share with other people that maybe, you know, this sparks something in you, or if you want to, you know more about what it is that I do, feel free to go to my website at thinkrecreate.com and, you know, leave me comments. I love to hear what's going on with you and where you are in your real estate career and how I can help you, if there's any way I can help you. And so go and just connect. I love connecting with you guys on social media. And I am, you know, I think this is my calling. I love helping my clients in probate, and I love what I do. And I didn't say this, but I do have an academy. One of the things that I decided in 2017 when I came to EXP is that I definitely wanted to do real estate differently. And one of the things that I wanted to do was have my own academy, right? And so I have my academy where I teach CE classes and I teach non-CE classes. And right before in 2019, I had launched my academy, and we had like 5 or 6 classes that year. And then was booked out for 2020, and then COVID hit. And so I said, okay, let's press the pause button. And so that's what I did. I wanted to, you know, think about it again and recreate it again. And my other thing that I was going to tell you is, yes, I love all my clients, but I am probably one of the biggest cheerleaders for other agents. I love helping other agents. I'm a mentor. I have a private mentoring business outside of EXP, and I love just pouring into other agents and seeing the light bulbs come on. So these are the things that I do. Again, if you found any of this helpful, please share. And I just want to say thank you for your time, and I'm open for questions.
Awesome information, Jackie. Thank you. Can you stop the sharing?
Yes.
There we go. Perfect. You know, it's funny. Normally, when I introduce somebody, I'll talk all about them. Well, this person did this, and this person did that, and this person did that. What I love about you is you unfold your life to the audience. We from the very beginning, we knew who you were. At the end, we are confirmed that we know who you are. And what I'll tell everybody is, you just found the best dose. If this is your first probate experience, or an ongoing probate experience, you now have a different way to think about probate. 3 things you said matter. And I don't think you should try to be a probate specialist without them. Number 1, you need to realize that this business is steady. Doesn't matter what the market does. You need to realize there's always business in probate. Same amount last week that there is next week. Interest rates won't matter. The second thing is, you need to be client forward. You need to be client conscious. Probate is not about your life. It's about the other person's life. You really have to selflessly give to them during this time of need. But here's the last part. If you're the kind of person that wants an endless list of referrals, if you help someone through a probate situation, they are locked at your hip forever. Jackie, speak to that for just a moment. Talk about the fact that once you help them through a process, boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Yes. I mean, you know, just like I said before, that you build that relate, you fall in love with your clients. You know, I actually happened to be on the call last week when Brent was on, and I remember Brent asking this, and I resonate with Brent so much, like, oh my God, yes. I like his biggest cheerleader. But I'm like, he says, do your clients know you love them? Do they know you love them? And that's the thing here. Do your clients know you love them? And when you help them through this process, they're going to trust you. You're like their family at this point. And they're going to be the very first person that they think about when anyone else, whether it's a probate situation or whether it's a rental, the child, is going to a new city, need a place, they're going to think about you.
Right.
And that's the thing that you want to be able to. And so that way if you're not a door knocker, if you're not a cold caller, this is how you build an endless lifetime of referrals.
2 additional ways. You didn't reference this. I know that you've utilized these in the past. One of them is getting to know the probate specialists in your area, getting to know those attorneys, taking one to lunch, dropping something by. They often have their go-to realtor, but their go-to realtor falls out of favor periodically.
That's true.
Because the clients in probate are not always easy, and sometimes it feeds back to the realtor. So I highly recommend people make a list of their probate specialists. Another one is once a month or so, people that are sick and dying, sometimes they don't die quickly. Sometimes families really are settling, getting to know this is what's going to happen, and doing a monthly training for anyone in your area, same date, same time, same location, letting people know that every month, second Wednesday of the month at Panera Bread in the corner, we're going to talk about people who are having this situation. Believe it or not, you're going to end up building an endless list of referrals for people who understand their family members are suffering and they don't have a real understanding of what it's all about. So these are 2 other things we can do. There were some questions in the chat box. I'll throw them at you. And then anyone that has a specific question, realize we only have about 7 or 8 minutes. So make the question as short as possible. But Jackie, one question real quickly. Someone asked, where do you purchase leads today? Where do you purchase leads today?
Yes, I purchase leads through probate data. Mhm.
Okay. And if they need more information, they can connect with you on that. Second thing is, how do you get CPRES certification?
I went to MTI Education or Institute and got certified there. And they're connected with probate data. And you can reach out to me and I can give you all the details.
Perfect. You don't have to rush. Even though we're at the last 8 or 9 minutes, you're like Speedy Gonzalez here. You can slow it down. I want the questions to come quick, but I want the answers to go slow.
Okay,
So,
I'll go slow.
there you go. Anybody else? If you have a question, come on, ask away. If you have a comment, if you enjoyed what you had to say, we'd like to hear that as well.
And while they're thinking, I want to go back to the attorney situation, guys. So I wanted to let you guys know, thank you so much for bringing that up. I really do appreciate that. And I wanted to let you know that, think about this. All attorneys, they know how to do probate. Some attorneys don't want to do probate because it can be a drag. It can be, and they don't get paid a whole bunch of money to do it, right? They represent the estate. They don't get paid a whole bunch of money. And it depends on how much money is in the estate. So some attorneys choose not to do it. But then on the other side of this, think about this way too. If you're trying to build that relationship with the attorney, they're probably, some attorneys are investors. They can't just go directly to the PR and buy that property, but they have you, that you could be a referral source for them when it's done the correct way. And so again, you have to just think you can come with this thing from so many different angles. It's like crazy. It really just depends on what you're comfortable doing and what you want to do. And I want to say this too, really quick, Eric, is that this is the other thing that I found, because, I'm of a certain age, and I know a lot of us are, we're doing our business differently. I remember when I first got into real estate, I was going all over the place. Wherever the business was, that's where I was going. Well, I don't do that now. I'm niched in my area. I really just want to serve Lawrenceville or the Gwinnett area, but I will go further, depends on the client. But don't try to keep up with somebody else. Go your pace, find out what works for you, and then nail that sucker, because you're the only one doing it. Okay, just want to encourage you in that. Just nail it, right? Own you.
You have 2 other things that you do that others, they think they may want to do. Do you have a brief answer to people that say, I'd like to start my own podcast, or I'd like to start a radio show, or I'd like to do some television? I know there's a lot of time. People don't understand how much time and effort goes into even beginning that process. Should anybody be thinking about it, especially if they have a probate direction and they want to be branded to that calling or that
Absolutely.
that sphere?
Absolutely. But you have to know why you're doing it. You can't just want one. You have to know why. You have to, again, give value. You have to give value, and the more platforms that you're on that are excellent, I don't work in being perfect. I work in excellence, but the more platforms that you're on and you show up in an excellent way, the more word of mouth, the more exposure you're going to get, the more people you're going to be able to serve, and the more value is going to be able to be out there. Okay. And it's going to come back to you for sure.
And there is a way to feather out the concept that you are now specializing in probate. You can do that through Facebook. You can do that through Instagram. You can do that through TikTok. You can do that through YouTube. Okay. Be aware there are ways of branding yourself to this calling by leaking some information out during general social media. Rashid Phillips has a question. Rashid, if you want to unmute yourself and go ahead. I know you unmuted, we can't hear you. Still think we can't hear you. If you'll type it in the box, Rashid, unless you're driving.
Can you hear me now?
We can, go ahead.
Okay. Well, great day, and thank you for this platform. For the reason I got into probate for the same reason that Jackie did, and I'm actually in the midst of it with my own family and taking care of them. It is a tough process. But Jackie,
yes,
on those dates, when are you teaching your system? Because that is where I feel I'm lacking in moving forward with building my probate business.
Yes, my website was supposed to be updated. I don't know if you've gone to the website, but all the dates should be there on there. And if it's not, just reach out to me and I'll get you plugged in.
Jackie,
Yes,
do you, Rashid, great question. You can put your hand down, by the way, unless you have another question. Jackie, do you recommend they connect with you also using workplace chat, or do you not utilize that?
Oh yeah, I definitely use workplace chat. They can.
We're trying to get everybody within this group understanding how efficient workplace chat and Freedom Team, workplace freedom team is as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For sure.
Anybody else, another question or comment?
Jackie, that was beyond amazing. And I so appreciate all of the wisdom you shared.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And thank you for saying that, because hopefully that will encourage someone else.
If there are no other questions specifically, if there are, jump in. It's perfectly okay to do that. Let me say this about probate, short sales, working with buyers, working expireds. There are so many directions an agent can go. You don't need to go in more than one or two, but you need to dedicate yourself to those one or two. How do you become an agent that has tethers everywhere, verticals everywhere? You start with one or two. You become known for something. Many of us are struggling right now with an industry that's shifting on us. Many of us don't know what it's like to be in an industry where you do have to forage for all of your business, because the last 3 to 4 years have been a little bit more comfortable than some previous to that. So Jackie is a perfect example of taking a step in a direction where her characteristics, her traits, her personality is in line with this probate world. Don't force yourself. Don't force your round self into a square hole.
Right.
There are plenty of opportunities in real estate right now, and there's some triangles and trapezoids available to some of us. So spend a couple of extra minutes just clarifying what you want to do in real estate. Then you can start to focus, and then you can start to execute. But ready, aim, fire is much better than aim, fire, ready. Okay, so we come back every Tuesday for the sole purpose of giving you a new idea or furthering an idea that you already have of a sector of real estate that you can enjoy, one that you may or may not have penetrated. But dipping your toe in is different than diving in the deep end. In EXP, there's never a reason to dive in a deep end without talking to 3 or 4 other people that are already swimming in the pool. So before you change your MO, change your personality, change your focus, interview a couple of other EXP agents that are experts in the direction you want to go. And if you don't know how to get to those people, I would highly recommend all of you in Freedom Team to remember every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. Central is a Genius Bar hour, where our top assistant, Kim Herrera, will be available to you every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. Central in the exact same link. So you can come in and say, I'm thinking about this. What do I do? I'm thinking about that. We're giving you more and more opportunities to decide where you want to be in real estate and then encourage you to move along in that direction. Jackie, are there any closing comments from you on today's session?
I just love the platform, and I'm all about, agents, moving forward and being clear on where they are. Guys, again, if this was any value to you and you want to find out, you need some clarity, go to my website, schedule Get Acquainted call. It's free. We can talk about what you want to do. Guys, if I can help you, I will. If not, I can point you in the right direction, but just be excited and to each day make it better. Be better each day.
Cool. And as Kim popped in, there's Lead Gen Mastermind as well. Don't forget to miss the chat box. And again, hit our calendar. The August calendar will be up in the next week, and you're definitely going to see what we have available to you. We may sneak in a happy hour towards the end of the month. Many of you wanted to come and didn't come last month. Don't miss our virtual happy hour. It's the safest place to drink. Jackie, thank you so much again for all you do and sharing it with us. And everybody else, make it a great week. We'll see you next Tuesday, and we'll see you for Glenn Sanford on the 31st. Bye, Jackie.
Bye-bye.